This is Grow Omaha Uncut, where you can watch our radio show, including what goes on in the commercial breaks. And be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons.
Hello, Ryder.
Hello.
How's that?
Right there.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
You guys don't have a theme song you play just before you go on air?
We do. We have
Coming up in 20
we have
seconds.
bumper music.
Yep.
No, beforehand.
Yeah, it was actually custom made for us 17 years ago when we started the program, and probably needs to be a little bit updated. But
I didn't know. I thought get a fired up song. I could tunnel walk.
Are you ready?
bum, 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 bum.
I can't hear you.
Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Just
and all of those things that make Omaha a great place to live or visit. Grow Omaha on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Well, good morning and welcome to the show. Jeff Beals here at your service from NAI NP Dodge Commercial Real Estate Company. We're also brought to you by D&M Roofing, Omaha's premier commercial and residential roofing contractor. Glad you've joined us today. This is the only show you'll ever find in the metro area that talks about business expansion, real estate construction, all of the fun things that you want to hear about on the radio and not the things that you don't. And with that, it's time to introduce my co-host, a man who is ready and raring for action, Trenton Megan.
You are too kind. Good morning, everyone. It is a rare day today.
Why is that?
It is Jack Beals, your son's 15th birthday.
Yeah, it is my son's birthday, and it's so nice of you to give him a shout-out. And, of course, there's zero chance that he's awake and listening to hear that. So that's a shame, but I'll let him know that you said that.
Well, that's what the YouTube channel and that's what the podcast's all about, because he'll definitely hear it sometime.
Hey, well, we this week launched a new feature on the new Grow Omaha YouTube channel, and it's called the Brad Williams Construction Update. And on this feature, Brad goes around with his video camera and highlights several construction projects like the Mercantile and the Performing Arts Center, a music venue, and several apartment buildings and others. He even went out to 180th and Blondo to show the bridge construction that will eventually connect Blondo to Dodge via 180th. And so we highly recommend to take a look at this. In order to do it, we want you to subscribe to the new Grow Omaha YouTube channel. Literally go to YouTube, hit subscribe, and you'll see that video. We also have videos from the show and everything else, but you're going to love that Brad Williams construction video. And Trenton, he promises us that he'll be doing it every month.
At least monthly. And that's something that not only did he inspired, he came up with it, and we really appreciate his contribution. And he's been for well over a decade, if not probably longer, that he's really been a huge contributor to this show. And we thank Brad Williams for that. So go to bradwilliamsphotography.com, and he can be hired for all kinds of, whether you're doing skylines or building projects. He gets up in a helicopter. He gets up in a drone, and he's a great guy.
Well, Nebraska Crossing owns Saturdays, and today's Saturday. It's a nice Saturday, beautiful weather, so we highly recommend that you take care of yourself, have a little bit of fun, give yourself some permission today to buy something new, and you can do that at Nebraska Crossing, Interstate 80 and Highway 31 in Gretna. And don't forget, you can be like me and have your Nebraska Crossing Fast Cash app. Ladies and gentlemen, all you have to do is go to your Nebraska Crossing app, and you hit Fast Cash. You put in your credit card bank information, and then anytime you purchase something at one of the 80 retailers at Nebraska Crossing, always use that app. Or rather, always use that credit card, and then it will send 15% back to your digital wallet. And so if I wanted to right now, I could go to Nebraska Crossing and get stuff essentially for free because I have a bunch of money stored up in my digital wallet from getting so much cash back.
And you've already gotten free stuff.
I get free stuff all the time.
I'm stockpiling.
Let's go into our news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com, where you can go to get that pre-approval letter. It is bonkers and nuts out there, people, if you're trying to buy a house these days. A lot of competition for houses. If you don't have a pre-approval letter or you're paying with cash, good luck. So you want to go talk to Holly and her team there and go through all the things to help you. It doesn't matter whether you're FHA, VA, conventional loan. They'll take good care of you. Refinances to eaglemortgagecompany.com. Well, the big news this week, Trenton, is that Applied Underwriters has announced it will resume construction on its headquarters building in Heartwood Preserve in June. Now, a lot of people in the local real estate community were thinking, I wonder. They were getting a little bit skeptical as to whether it would ever restart.
I thought they were putting all their money in landscaping for the other lots because they're doing all kinds of architectural and beautification of the park, of the drainage system, and Heartwood Preserve, former Boys Town property, and former DeMarco property south of Pacific will be a great place. And it'll take time, and there's some great plans that haven't been announced yet, and there's some buildings that are going up. So, yeah, I'd love to see that crane moving around and that building getting completed.
Well, it's a $200 million project, 260,000 square feet in a 3-story building. Had been stalled out for 8 months. June will make it 9. And now the estimated completion date is sometime in 2023. Campus is being built for about 1,000 employees. And if you drive by it, which construction geeks like I do periodically, you'll notice that all of the parking is being constructed underground. So when the building is completed, it'll be very beautiful because you won't see a sea of cars at any point in time. You'll just see landscaping and the building from the street.
That's a pretty unique amenity for a suburban project. I could see a parking garage. There's talks about some subterranean parking going to happen downtown, but to do it out in West Omaha is not only is it going to be nice, but it's going to be very expensive.
American Airlines has announced that it'll begin daily nonstop service between Omaha Eppley Airport and New York's LaGuardia Airport beginning November 2nd. It looks like the departure from Omaha will be in the morning. Return from New York City will leave there about 7:15, arriving here at 9:41. It'll be a 76-passenger Embraer E-175 aircraft. By the way, American already has, in addition to this new LaGuardia nonstop from Omaha, they have nonstops to Charlotte, Chicago, DFW, LAX, Miami, Philadelphia, and Phoenix Sky Harbor. Now, there are a couple of airlines that were offering nonstops to New York City, one to Newark, one to LaGuardia. I'm not sure if those are still going during the pandemic, but certainly before the pandemic and hopefully after. And this comes on the heel maybe of about, a month ago perhaps, when Allegiant announced an additional nonstop to LAX. So maybe with passenger traffic coming back, hopefully we'll not only get these new ones, but we'll get some of our temporarily dormant nonstops back.
Well, and hopefully New York opens more back up, and there's Broadway shows and all kinds of stuff. And kudos to Omaha for being open and remaining open and addressing the issues.
Boys Town is tearing down its 73-year-old high school to modernize and create a better education experience for its students. In its place, Boys Town will build a 3-story, 110,000 square foot education center. It's a $30 million project for 350 students, completion in 2023.
That's probably a 70-year-old high school. So I think it's time.
I tell you what, there's a lot of talk about Father Flanagan being canonized at some point in time. If he ever becomes a saint, not that we're looking at canonization purely from economic development and tourism perspective, but can you imagine the tourism that Boys Town will get? They'll have to create like the big, what will they call him, like St. Edward Flanagan or something? They'll have to create a big center and all that sort of thing.
Oh,
It'd be
for a
crazy.
second I thought you were saying that they're going to weaponize him and he's going to be named. They're going to build a giant cannon. That's something different, though, right?
Nice try. All right.
I just wrote it.
I mean,
I'm still working on my morning material.
Trenton's got a great sense of humor. He's always making me laugh. He always makes everyone in the office laugh. And one of the funniest guys I know. But even he sometimes, drops a lead balloon for a joke.
I take comedic risks, all right, ladies and gentlemen, and even when they're live.
At any rate, we've got one more story on the docket there, Trenton. Gretna development. You found a little bit of information about a kind of a retail mixed-use Gretna development happening at Highway 6 and Bryan Street. We have a fairway going there.
Yeah, they should have started construction already. Batiste Development out of Topeka, Kansas. They developed all the Freddy's frozen custard development. They've done a lot of Starbucks. They've done regionally and nationally. They've done some stuff. and they're building this. It's right by the elementary the elementary and the middle school in Gretna, and they're doing work on the infrastructure now. But it looks like there could be an auto parts store. There could be, there should be a Casey's and a Fairway Foods, and they got a room for a few more things. But that corridor, it's up on the Highway 631, which basically 204th Street.
I'll find it interesting to see how long it takes to connect that hub of Gretna development in and around this 8-acre site that you're talking about at Highway 6 and Bryan Street with the Nebraska crossing, the Interstate 80 interchange. I think it'll fill in pretty fast through there with all the growth we're seeing in the Gretna area.
It already has, and most of the land along that corridor is in developers' hands. And this goes all the way north and to Center Street. You've got 3 huge projects between F Street and Q Street. There's 3 major ones, and there's a mixed use with tons of residential as well.
And that is your News of the Week, brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. You can find Eagle Mortgage at 114th and Davenport or online at eaglemortgagecompany.com. When we come back, we're going to bring on Jason and Angie Fisher, developers of the new Farnham Hotel that is getting really close to opening inside the Landmark building downtown. Trenton and I toured it this week. It's beautiful. It's like nothing else you're going to see in this marketplace. And if you stick with us, you're going to hear all about it. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha, brought to you by NAI, NP Dodge, and D&M Roofing. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Okay, now I can bring you guys back here. You can cross the line. Yeah.
Cross the line now.
Cross the line, but don't cross back. We got it.
Yeah, I'll put this up
Hopefully all
kind
the
of
viewers
high.
didn't tune out after.
So already look at the bottom.
Of course. How do you see that? Oh my
Well,
God.
how old are you now? 40? 50. You're that?
Yeah.
I thought you were younger.
I just turned 50. in
So
January.
when you guys talk, it might be really
You're
close.
close.
Yeah. Does he know you're on?
I don't think. No, I didn't tell him because I didn't want him blowing me up.
Okay.
Or
You know what?
If you like that,
Maybe over here.
Thomas, just wait till you hear our
Then
next
my hair is
guest.
not all in my face.
Period.
Oh yeah.
Next week, Rich Secor's coming on.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, that was just harsh.
He's just going to.
Then we're gonna have my girl.
What did he say? How do I get on the show?
He always
have to
wants to
do.
be on the show.
He does.
We had dinner with them, hung out with them later after you guys toured.
Okay.
And that story came up
Yeah.
Oh, did it?
from his, from
Oh yeah, we told him we
Trenton,
turned
yeah.
with you guys.
So we talked about that story with the mayor.
Oh, that's hilarious.
He was, yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
It was really funny.
About his third life. Benita loves it.
Yeah. Benita's like, yeah, the best part was he said, I think this one's gonna stick.
Did you talk to her about it since then?
That night after we toured with you.
She doesn't hate me for that.
No, she thought it was funny.
That's great.
She's great.
She just rolls her eyes at it now.
She does, yeah, she knows. She knows that that's just part of the territory.
You know your coffee selections around here are pretty
Weak, sorry.
weak.
I'm not much of a coffee drinker, but I wouldn't drink anything in
We
this
get you some
building.
water from the vending machine.
I wouldn't drink anything that originates in this building.
Just
So
mostly.
I always bring mine from outside.
Oh my god, they're so tall. I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, Duncan, what do you do?
No, this was first watch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
First watch.
I actually really love First Watch.
My daughter and I went there for breakfast this morning. Pretty good. We usually do Le Peep, but sometimes have
Yeah, yeah. It's been a lot busier, so it sometimes takes a while to get in there.
And we do the one at 69th and
Oh, sure.
Pacific, which isn't too bad, but yeah,
Yeah.
out west, good luck.
The west one's tough.
Getting into the
Yeah.
Le Peep, yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Eric with
We always, for Saturday morning, she's over in the conference room doing homework, but,
to the storm and
we,
the insurance process.
yeah, we always hit the ones close to the
Nice.
studio. It's a little bit easier to get in down
We took your advice. The sliders was good.
Oh, yeah.
there. Yeah.
Didn't even know it existed.
Yeah.
The spicy chicken and the fried cauliflower.
We're just really hoping that Harney Street, you know, because it's kind of a dead zone. He's just around that corner.
D&M Roofing.
Nobody knows he's there.
Could you please squeeze a little bit more over there so you can get in the frame? Yes, yes. Perfect. Thank you.
I'm not a good listener.
Work with me, Jeff.
Alex Gordon. Details
There,
at djzero.org.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beal sitting next to Trenton Maggot from NAI NP Dodge Commercial Real Estate. We're also brought to you by D&M Roofing. Glad that you have joined us here today. And Trenton and I had a nice opportunity a couple of days ago. We toured the brand new Farnham Hotel. This is the hotel that is just about ready to open inside the Landmark building at 13th and Farnham, between Farnham and Harney. And we have with us the developers, Jason and Angie Fisher. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, guys. Thank you for having us.
Thanks a lot for having us here.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. And by the way, first of all, thank you for that tour. The property is amazing, absolutely beautiful. Trent and I both just loved touring it. Can you guys give us a little bit of an overview of what the Farnham is, what it's going to look like, and what sets it apart?
Sure. I'll start. And congrats on this show. You guys do an amazing job, and I subscribe to the YouTube channel. So
thank you.
Anxious to see
Ringing
that too.
endorsement, ladies and gentlemen.
Our journey started in 2018 when a group of investors with us purchased the building. It was an 15-story office building, all glass. It's the building with the peaks for those that aren't familiar. And originally, we thought we were going to convert some of the vacant floors to luxury apartments. And we ran into some challenges with the mixture of those two uses, office and apartments, and started to explore hospitality and really didn't want to do it wasn't our intent to get into hospitality, but if we were going to do it, we wanted to do something that was, raise the bar for all of Omaha. So we ended up with an autograph collection, Marriott by Marriott, which is, their tagline is exactly like nothing else. And so it's the best of both worlds from our perspective. Boutique. We got to develop the brand story and make all the interior decisions, but we get the largest reservation system in the world right now with Marriott. So the journey has been challenging at times, and a lot of couples I think struggle with building a house together, and we're still married. And actually we've enjoyed every minute. I think we've disagreed about 5 times, and she won all 5 of those, so it turned out good.
5 times with 27 subparts, right?
Yeah, good point.
Exactly as it should be.
You said something about on the tour that, and we went through the whole thing. You guys gave a great tour, and what did you say? There's like 20,000. How many boxes do you think that were delivered? All the equipment and room, everything.
Yeah, what you don't think about, I think we have over 1,500 individual SKUs just in furniture, fixtures, and equipment, and then you start bringing in linens and all the hotel stuff, plates, and et cetera. The group thinks we're well over 15,000 packages to stock the hotel, so it's crazy.
Okay, Angie. So you conceive of this a repurpose of a very beautiful building that was known as the U.S. West building. It was known as, now I think they call it CenturyLink.
Landmark building.
Yeah, Landmark, and so you put all these pieces together, and Jason is obviously an expert and well versed at real estate transactions, very complicated real estate project, but it's also it's also you're creating a new business. It's either a license agreement or a franchise with Marriott, and then you have all their standards, and then you have branding and all that kind of stuff. Can you address how all that goes together, or at least touch on it? I know it's only an hour show.
Yeah, it's an incredibly complex process that I would not have even ventured to guess about prior to diving right into it. So we really started with an agreement with Marriott that we wanted to do this. They felt like it was a good location for this.
Well, microphone will malfunction.
Yeah, that's all right. And so then we started with the development of a brand story. That's the foundation for the whole development of the hotel project. And so you start with this development story. Ours is really a story about Omaha, which we hope is exactly what Omaha needs, kind of in the way of advertisement. Honestly, we think Omaha is this surprising, booming, progressive, entrepreneurial place. And when people come to Omaha, I don't know, for all of us who are from here, everyone's surprised when they come here. And so we wanted to kind of encapsulate that surprise and the interest that Omaha has, the art scene, the music scene, just kind of be progressive, but still with a significant root in Omaha history. So we've brought in a lot of interesting tidbits of Omaha history, starting with Lone Tree Landing is the name of our marketplace, where we'll have a barista and all of those things. But Lone Tree Landing is actually the spot where the ferry boat crossed the Missouri River for actually where Omaha was born. So
Did not know that.
the roots. Yeah. So we started there and kind of built on that. And, we really hope that the feeling and the image that people see and get from being in our space is something that exemplifies kind of how exciting Omaha actually is that people don't know.
And Jason, you haven't been, as best I know, you haven't been in the restaurant business, but you decided to start 3 new restaurants as part of this project, right?
Yeah, we're hospitality business and including food and beverage. So, yeah, to tag on what Angie said, to develop the brand story, we had consultants come in. They spent 10 days, and they learned more about Omaha than in many cases I knew. And there were some themes that started coming out, that how sophisticated it was, but it's not stuffy, and how culturally rich the offerings were. So that's what we're trying to bring. That led us into the food and beverage space as well, and a big part of your experience, especially at an Autograph Collection hotel, is the food and beverage. So in addition to developing the Farnham brand hotel, we developed 2 restaurant concepts. The signature restaurant's called Dynamite. It's centered around a special natural wood-fired grill and oven called Jade. And
big flames, ladies and gentlemen.
Big flames.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, and it's a really elegant space. And the menu is going to be exactly like nothing else in Omaha. There'll be a lot of seafood, obviously a lot of steaks. There's a 46-ounce tomahawk they've got a really cool preparation for 2 people, but it's not a steakhouse, and it's a real diverse menu that I think people are going to really, really like.
We were in there, and they were making they took corned beef and they were making Reuben balls and
croquettes.
Yeah, croquettes. Yeah,
that might be a better
That's
word.
the official term. Yeah. Yeah,
but the wood fired oven was not only something that probably makes great cuisine, but my goodness, it was visually almost shocking because it's behind this open kitchen bar sort of thing, and you look at it and it's huge, and there's flames in 3 different spots. It's visually impressive.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? There's a lot of design. There's too many design elements to talk about in this segment, but if you talk about that, we've got several tributes, if you will, to sort of the Mercer family and M's Pub and Dynamite, as you would expect. There's charred, there's a smoky element, and one of the things we have, and there's a really dramatic lighting. We've got this high definition dynamite explosion mural on the ceiling. But we had the art installation that we have in the private dining that you saw actually is charred joist timber from the M's Pub fire that our project lead, Tim Mettenbrink, and his lovely wife, Betty, installed for us. And it's dramatic. It's beautiful. It's really, industrial, cool. And then when you hear the story, I think it's really cool.
And a shout out to Tim Mettenbrink, our friend who has experience in Hawaii and around the world in putting together hotels, and he's a big part of your team, I know.
Yeah, it's a village. To pull this off, Angie and I get to be I'll be the voice. She can be the face. But it is an immense number of team members that made it all happen, and just really, really proud. We're really proud.
Ladies and gentlemen, you should have seen when I asked these two, so what's your next project? And I don't think they've had time to stop in the last couple of years about what that is. And interested to know, on top of everything else, and nobody had any idea in 2018 or 19, or I guess at the end of 19, but the coronavirus hitting. I can only imagine what you were thinking when that happened. Not only you're learning a new trade and a new business and everything else, what went through your thought the first 5 months, your thought process during the first 5 months of the pandemic?
Well, fortunately for us, our timing could have been a lot worse. So we were doing development, and we were, sourcing all of our custom furniture and all of those things, and much of that came from overseas. So we did definitely learn a lot about the supply chain and how it works and how it doesn't work. and
Disruption.
Yeah, we had a
the
lot
bad
of
part. When you want to
hiccups.
disrupt an industry, you don't want to have a disrupted supply chain.
Yeah, so we did have a lot of issues with that. We had to reselect a lot of different things because the manufacturers closed. And so it definitely created more layers to the already multitude of layers of development. But the good news is it was kind of trial by fire, and we're pretty much ready for anything. So if we decide to do another development project down the road, we've got it.
I couldn't say my thoughts on the air, but when you asked that question, but on top of it, Angie's a physician out at Lakeside, and so we had that sort of stress in the background. But the supply chain thing is something that most people just don't really understand, and we're going to open May 13th, and that's later than we wanted, and it got costlier, and there was no way around it. Just the supply chain reselecting. Air freight in some cases, it just drove the project costs up. But we still have a container with some quartz tops that is sitting in Long Beach. It's been there for 3 weeks, and they don't know when we'll see it. So we've had to.
It's buried.
Yeah, it's buried.
Buried.
Yeah, but you know
in
what?
the queue.
Yeah, but timing feels really good right now. I think people are craving experiences. They're going to get one that's different, and we think better. Than others in the region, and the response has been incredible when we do tours, and we appreciate you guys coming down. Had a good time with you, so thanks.
Well, it's called the Farnham, and it's beautiful. It's inside the landmark building, as they said, opening on May 13th. So when that happens, go and check it out. They mentioned the Dynamite restaurant, but there's the Catalyst Lounge with an outdoor component to it, a lobby lounge and bar and all that. You're gonna enjoy it. Jason and Angie Fisher, we appreciate you joining us.
Our pleasure.
You so
Thank you.
Yeah, and thanks for your investment in our city. So Jason and Angie Fisher with the Farnham. And we're going to take our middle of the show break. When we come back, we're going to bring on Matt Taylor. He is in charge of the Interrail Food Hall at Exarban, going to talk to us about some interesting things happening there. All of that and more. So stay with us. You're listening to Grow Omaha on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Nice work. Thanks, good job. What type of physician are you?
Internal medicine.
Okay.
He's from a long line of doctors.
Thank you. You know Alter? He's retired now. So he was a client a long time ago, but he went to the John Boyd School of Real Estate, and they kind of went off their own easy. And that's on there. Hi, John. Anyway, and he's actually really well in real estate, but his wife was a client too, and at World Group, she just was helping around the office and stuff like that, and then she became the director of property management. She's the director of property management now at NPDOT. She follows us over there a few months later.
Nice.
And they split their time between Florida and here, but
Right.
great people.
Yeah,
Great
yeah,
people.
they're good. Yeah, he's awesome.
Were you in one of those medical buildings out there?
Actually, I'm a hospitalist, so
Okay.
I'm just
Oh, gotcha.
inpatient care. Yeah, so no clinic.
You like
just-
that program?
I love it.
Okay. So how long have you been a hospitalist?
She's
in control. 2002.
Okay. Oh, so that I didn't realize that turns it around that way.
Yeah, so that's how I started. I got out of residency and went directly into hospital.
You go to the rest
I
of
went to
the-
school there, and then I did my residency training in San Antonio, University of Texas. Yeah.
My dad was a OBGYN for like 40 years, and he started at off Air Force Base.
Yeah.
Was a captain, was head of OBGYN of the to care all the flyboys' wives.
Right.
And he thinks he passed away, but he thinks he's delivered like 6,000 or 7,000 babies.
Oh my gosh.
He had a busy practice.
I'm sure. Well, that's prime baby making.
Yeah.
Ages in there. So.
Yeah. So no, I mean I used to hang out it was at Methodist and Emmanuel at the time out north.
Yeah,
And,
that's funny. It's funny.
It's pretty fun stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Well, this is great.
Yeah, thank you so much.
But yeah,
we really appreciate
let
it.
everybody know to listen to the podcast. And we're getting them up pretty fast on the channel too, which is sweet. But yeah, Marty Passner was great on that tour as well. And that mutual space is really nice.
Yeah.
14th floor, and the 15th is even better. Bridgepoint Capital Partners moved in there. They got a great deal, but because it's such a beautiful space. But on a side note, some other time, you know, the downtown office sub-market just, not to be dramatic, but it's really at a fork in the road. And it has been teetering for a long time, and now with all the suburban development and COVID and CEOs really saying, you know, people going anti-commute, we hope that we can, you know, curb that
Just
tide.
think if all the people, the Todd Easthands of the world, and Christian Christensen, and all those people that went and did all those condo projects and apartment projects down there and everything.
Yeah.
Are the condos almost sold out at Midtown yet?
You know, I think so. Actually,
Vanita said they're selling like crazy right now.
they're doing a lot of resales.
Yes.
Yeah. And they brought some more online, as you know, a year ago.
Yeah.
I think they have a lot of momentum.
I mean, they've done probably better, or I mean, what they've done for that whole expanded neighborhood. I mean, when you look at Urban Village and the projects, I mean, it's great. I mean,
It's wonderful.
it's we have a lot to be thankful for in our community.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a lot of those folks doing the riverfront development, and Gene Leahy. This is just, we have some amazing people.
Yeah.
Well, let us know if you need anything else, but
Yeah, thank you very much.
If we can do anything for you, but I think this is great, and then we'll proto when it opens. I mean, I think
Let's do a on-site host in terrace on the terrace.
We do those. Yeah, we could do that this summer.
That'd be fun.
Okay.
We're a little full for the next couple weeks, but we can definitely do that this summer if you guys want.
Thank you.
Okay, all righty.
Yeah, that'd be great.
you know where you're going.
We'd enjoy it, so.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Have a great day.
Have a nice day.
Enjoy your weekend.
Nice to meet you.
Second.
I suppose we.
John.
Do you have someone giving you a no-cost risk assessment?
If anybody's listening to this,
Hi, this is
Over
Eric
there.
Oberman.
if anyone's listening or watching this YouTube channel show, and you know John Wand, you got to ask him why he's never been on this show and never will be. And it's an inside joke, but it would be a
I don't know if we'll say never.
yeah.
Yeah, never say never.
I mean, it
You'd
could
have to, yeah.
It could happen.
Yeah, stranger things have happened, I guess. But I'm trying to have everybody around him, and we love John Lund as a friend, and but he's also very fun to tease.
See that again. That's hilarious.
You can download the personal funeral profile, or you are welcome to stop by. In business for over 130 years, serving families of all faiths.
I didn't realize that Angie's an internal medicine doc as well, and,
Yeah.
and while she's not doing this stuff.
We were, yeah. You were talking with Marty and Jason toward the end, and she was telling me about her practice. Yeah, those guys are busy.
Tucker's heading back after 374 miles.
370. That's more miles than I've walked this year.
Ever.
Ever. Yeah.
Ever.
Ever. Yeah. I mean,
For me, it's
combined.
He's
in
coming
my
back.
life.
He's coming back on Tuesday.
You'll see just
So-
how much money you can save by making a move right now. Don't look back over these next few weeks and wish that you had taken action. You could save hundreds on your mortgage payments or pay off your home loan earlier than planned. You could even take cash out of your home to pay off high interest debt, complete home repairs, or bulk up on an emergency fund. When you want to secure a low rate, Rocket can. Call 8
Microphone down. Microphone down. Okay, let's see here. Hey, our little YouTube announcement paid off. We had about 10 people join us since we mentioned that.
Mention it again.
Yeah, I've got. After this segment, I'm going to mention that you can see the newsletter online.
Okay. Your friend, your son's up.
Oh, how so?
He's in with the program.
Did you tell him that you mentioned him on air?
No. I'll do that. All right. I need to get it up.
You can always switch to that one. That one works better.
I'm good.
For 17 years, you've been stuck with the middle microphone.
I know.
That really isn't very fair.
I'd like to be closer to you, though.
Not that I want to give
But
up
you
this
need
one.
that screen over there.
Yeah, I have to
gave
have
you a
this
shout
one.
out.
I run this thing. I've got to have this
Top of
one.
the hour.
What's that?
We got some line and we're right
Okay.
after this.
Okay. Thanks, Delaney.
And we're back. Grow Omaha, brought to you by D&M Roofing and NAI NP Dodge. And we're now going to bring on Matt Taylor as part of our Noddle Companies Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight. Noddle Companies is one of the Midwest's premier commercial real estate development companies doing so many big projects in Omaha. And one of those is Exarban Village, Omaha's second downtown, Exarban Village. And one of the big attractions in Exarban Village is the Interrail Food Hall. Matt, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's good to have you here. Trenton and I are both big fans of the Interrail Food Hall. You're with Hospitality HQ, which runs the Interrail for Exarban Village. And can you give us an idea about what's new at the food hall? What's going on there these days now that the weather is getting so much nicer?
Absolutely. So I think that the conversation is all about what's the future of Omaha, what's the future of our hospitality industry, and what can we do to inject some excitement into the community. So I think even more than the food hall, which is bustling with 10 individual restaurants, these are all local guys who are out there making craft food. You can have one communal spot, but here's the real kick. Exarban Village has so many fun activations right now. We just opened Chlorophyll, which is a specialty plant store right in the Interrail patio area. Next to that, Power Line Studios, Green Street Cycles is coming to the village. But then what we want to do is show everybody what's happening. Entertainment, live music, kids stuff, farmers market, specialty producers, and, of course, our restaurant scene. So on June 12th of this year, Saturday, come out. We're going to have a big event called Vacation in the Village, and we're going to treat everybody to an expose of what we're really doing. We'll also have speakers talking about the future of the hospitality industry in Omaha and why it's so important to have great restaurants in a growing city.
What I like about it is your collaboration with Noddle Development and the expansion of the dog park and all the green space around there. So not only do you have the option of eating within the Interrail, but you can also take it outside, and that's pretty unique, isn't it, in Omaha?
Well, it is, and I've got a trick up my sleeve. I'm in Miami right now with some members of the Noddle team, and we are looking at some of the amenities and some of the outdoor markets here. And we're going to bring several of the elements this summer to Exarban Village. Art, interactive experiences outside, live music, bocce ball, a sand volleyball league, which, by the way, I should name drop and thank Bill from Infusion Brewery. Bill and Liz are going to team up with us and bring a sand volleyball league this summer. It's just out of this world. A lot of fun stuff is coming to the village.
We're talking with Matt Taylor, Hospitality HQ, in charge of the Interrail Food Hall at Exarban Village. Matt, what are some of the newer concepts that have opened up in the food hall lately?
Oh, we're so excited to welcome Luke Maby's concept, Culprit Cafe. Everybody loves them from their Midtown location and downtown location. This is a growing young operator who is making a name for himself in coffee. We've got them at the food hall now. Pastries, lunch, and here's the thing I didn't know about Culprit. They've got the most amazing corned beef sandwich for lunch. It's out of this world. And then we also just opened Yogamo, which is a traditional Chinese puff pastry sandwich. And they brought in the market developer from a major national brand of boba tea, and he's going to run the tea program. Now, they just opened for tea last week. Next week, they'll open for full lunch. 2 brand new vendors at Interrail.
What give us an idea of the hours and what to expect at the Interrail?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're open 7 days a week. Culprit Cafe opens at 7:30 a.m. And then our food hall vendors open at 11 a.m. to serve lunch and dinner. During the week, Sunday through Thursday, open till 9 p.m. And on the weekends, Friday and Saturday, we stay open till 10. Now, here's the thing that's already started. We've got weekly activations. So every day of the week, we will have a new event on the patio. So far, we've got Pint Night which is on Tuesday nights on the patio. You can meet local brewers, sample their beers, and take a commemorative glass home. We've got board game night, which, by the way, what do you meme? I am the all-time champion. So any challengers, come see me.
I won't touch that.
That's right. That's right. And the number one hit, and I never knew this was such a big thing until we did it. Music bingo on Thursday is lighting them up again. We were packed on Thursday with the outdoor space, made it very comfortable for folks to reemerge in entertainment. And we're doing it in a safe manner. We're spreading everything out, but it's time to start having some fun again, I think.
All right. Well, Matt, we appreciate you joining us. Very excited to spend some time at the Interrail and the rest of Exarban Village this weekend and this summer. This is the golden time of year coming up for you guys, and hope you bring back a lot of great ideas from your fact-finding mission to Miami, and we appreciate you joining us today.
Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great day.
All right, Matt Taylor from HQ, or rather Hospitality HQ, runs the Interrail at Exarban Village. Going to take a quick break, the last break, and we come back. It'll be the lightning round by Turner Construction. And I'm looking here at the list. We've got a lot of stuff on there, so don't miss any of it. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha, brought to you by D&M Roofing and NAI NP Dodge Commercial Real Estate. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Okay, so we'll squeeze in, and I gotta do, we're gonna pack in a lot. There's a lot we have to get done here. Okay.
You can do it.
You can do it. I believe in you. You can do it. All right. Bring it on.
Going fast.
How much time from this break? I'm sorry, in this spot block.
Yeah. Fair. I think like 6 minutes.
Oh, we have a 6. Of a programming time.
Yeah.
Okay. So Trent and I also, on the same day we toured the Farnham, we also toured the Peregrine. We've mentioned the Peregrine before. In fact, one time a couple months ago when I was out of town, Trenton had the manager of the Peregrine on the hotel. But this is inside the old World Insurance building right next to the Woodman Tower. And if you haven't seen it, you go in, the lobby is beautiful, check-in area, nice little market. And then off to the south side of the lobby, up about 2 or 3 steps, very nice bar, restaurant, pretty impressive. Then you go upstairs, it's probably about, I think, an 8-story building, if I remember correctly. And they had to carve an atrium out of the middle of it for egress and fire safety reasons, but they turned that atrium into a real centerpiece. So some of the rooms overlook the atrium, which actually has a painting mural of a falcon that is like 7 stories high. And then I would say the coup de grace of the Peregrine was the rooftop bar, which it's going to be open on weekends, and I think starting this weekend, and then probably all the time in the summer, and it's beautiful. Oh, so we're back on the air. We'll catch you later. Stay with us.
And welcome back to the show. This is Grow Omaha, brought to you by D&M Roofing and NAI NP Dodge. And it's time for what you've all been waiting for, the lightning round, brought to you by Turner Construction. Turner Construction is reshaping Omaha, making it a better place, not only by building amazing buildings, but by helping prepare amazing professionals to go into the construction trades. If you are ever thinking about working in construction, or your kid or grandkid is, they could do a lot worse than affiliating with Turner Construction. Also, if you're thinking about doing a project for your company, Turner Construction. Been around forever. They do huge projects, medium projects, and small projects. Their Omaha office is in North Downtown in that really cool Mastercraft building, and they'll take good care of you. And we're proud to have Turner Construction as a sponsor of Omaha's Lightning Round. Okay, we have a new dual-branded hotel opening on May 10th at 72nd and Haskell. One half will be Home 2 Suites by Hilton. The other half will be True by Hilton. The developer of that project will be with us next week. Javi's Tacos is now open in Lakeside. Original location was at 180th and Q.
Still there.
I love Javi's Tacos.
Yeah, so they have 2 locations. That guacamole is really good too.
Yeah, that place is good. Hey, there's a cool event, Thrift Shopping. Thrift Shopping is a very unique thrift store that deals in all sorts of second-hand items, including some very impressive ones. They're having their Spring Fling today from 9 a.m. to 1. So it's going on right now. Hurry up after the show is over. Get there. Free food, live music, early bird giveaway, and they are located at 85th and L Street. So Spring
I think
Fling.
the food isn't repurposed, though. I think the food is probably fresh.
You're probably right. Hey, Corner Kick is going to open a 3rd location at 132nd and Dodge in the old Agave Azteca spot. Aldi has done their site prep work at 192nd and West Center Road. They'll be going vertical pretty soon on an Aldi store. This is northwest corner. Laszlo's is nearby, if that helps people picture it.
They've got a lot of locations now.
9. This will be their ninth location in town. And Trenton, we've got some development at 204th and Roberts Road. This is kind of it's a little bit north of Dodge. You know, there's a bunch of fast food restaurants and a Menards. You go a little bit north of there, and you have a new McDonald's that's under construction. And then across the street, there's a CHI Health project that is underway as well in that area.
There's a Roberts Road in Papillion or La Vista too.
Is there? I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
very confusing.
But at any rate, so yeah, you could go have your blood pressure checked at CHI and then go grab a Big Mac afterwards.
And then go and get your blood pressure checked again.
He said it, not me. Okay, there's a 150,000 square foot warehouse going up at 69th and F Street. That's an industrial area. Just kind of snuggled in there behind the Union Pacific Railroad mainline tracks. $13.5 million project on a 12-acre site. Have nice 32-foot ceilings, which we like.
Yeah, it'll be modern.
In industrial buildings. The house has been removed at 40th and Farnham Street that heretofore was standing in the way of the future Bearshin restaurant and beer garden. And Bearchin has, it's either Bearshin or Bearchin or something like that. I don't pronounce all my European words as well as I should, but they have a location in Benson, which I understand is very popular. This is going to be the Blackstone location, 3,000-foot restaurant. We'll also have a meeting room, and then the feature for them will be a rooftop deck. That's pretty big and should be pretty activated.
Speaking of Midtown house removal, did you see on the way here that it's been a week or two, but they removed the house? I think it's about Hackberry, so it'd be on Underwood, on that where that kind of splits off.
In Fair Acres.
Yeah, in Fair Acres. I can only imagine what that costs to tear down a house and rebuild in that neighborhood.
I can only imagine what the new one they're going to put there might look like.
Exactly.
It'll be fun to see how nice that is. Hey, we've been talking the last couple of weeks about the Grow Omaha Weekly Market Report. It is our e-newsletter that we send out every Thursday, and we've been telling you that if you signed up for it and haven't been getting it, make sure you add news at Grow Omaha to your approved senders list. Also, the announcement we have for you today is that we take those old or past newsletters and later that day, after they come out every Thursday morning, so Thursday night, Friday morning, we put them on the website. So if you go to growomaha.com and click on Market Report, you can see all 3 of them that we've done so far. They're going to come out every week, every Thursday. And if you're not on the list, for God's sake, sign up. When you're there at growomaha.com/market report, there's a place you can put in your name and your email address, and you can have that sent to you as well. The newsletter is off the charts. I mean, we've got people like if it's 5 minutes later coming out than it was last week, Trenton's got people blowing up his phone saying, "Where is it? Send me the newsletter."
Yeah, and Jeff is the force behind that newsletter, and the last 3 weeks he's got it out on time, and we're always looking for good information. So if you send anything, if you want to subscribe and you just want the easy way out and go to news at growomaha.com, we'll get it, and we'll add you to that mailing. But for a lot of you that you think you should have it and you haven't gotten it, please go to your spam folder and add us to your address book, news at growomaha.com, and so you may already have it.
Yeah, that's happened quite a few times. It comes from a CRM system, and so whenever you send out emails in bulk, a lot of email systems are sensitive to those, and so they automatically flag it. So at any rate, if you want it, go to growomaha.com and hit the market report. And then also, like we said, the YouTube channel is up and running, and we're putting videos on there every week, including the new construction video. Some of the construction projects that Brad talked about in that video are pretty exciting, Trenton. And one of them that he mentioned that I had kind of forgotten about lately is this apartment project on the southeast corner of the Med Center. It's going to be like a 6-story, huge apartment building.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, we need it. And keep in mind, we've talked a lot about it on this show, but when this next project, this $2.6 billion project just east of Saddle Creek, in addition to the administration building that Nebraska Medicine is doing on the west side of Saddle Creek, we need those apartment units.
Absolutely. And then I've mentioned this the last couple of weeks, but I'm going to mention it again because whenever I come to the radio show, I drive by the Crossroads, and that's where the Swivel apartment project is going up on the east side. Looks like they're now on the 4th floor. It's eventually going to be a 5-story building. And I think that's a sign of what's to come in that area. You're going to see more and more of the 4- and 5-story buildings in that whole 72nd and Dodge corridor, and a lot less of the 1-story buildings as the area densifies and becomes more, populated, active, and lively.
And that's what the master plan for Omaha is. If you look at it, you'll see 72nd and Dodge shows taller buildings, and you'll see that at the Crossroads project.
Yeah, and just a little bit to the west, we talked about a month or two ago about the Clove apartment project. This is on the site of the former Village Inn that was at about, maybe 78th and Dodge. Just saw a building permit go out recently. So it looks like some of the early building permits for that project are now starting to come out. And we could have mentioned this in the Noddle Company's commercial real estate development spotlight earlier, but saw a building permit go out recently for Blackstone townhomes, which would be a 38th to do.
Condos.
Okay, so the music is playing, which means that Jeff and Trenton have to stop talking, but only for this week. We'll be back. I'm Jeff Beals.
And I'm Trenton Magid.
You've been listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by NAI NP Dodge and D&M Roofing. We'll chat with you next week at 9 o'clock right here on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
It's a wrap.
Good show.
Yeah, that was good. Thanks for joining us on the video, people.
Yeah. All right. Turn those things off so we can talk about you.
Now we can say all the stuff we're not supposed to say.
It's a wrap.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.